Thank you. Have a great year.
Thank you.
Excellent stuff down in Birmingham from Brett with Jimmy Hyams. You know, I love listening to Jimmy. It was interesting. He really put some pressure on Jeremy Pruitt. Didn't he say needed a bowl, but thinks he's going to get there. Thinks it'll be the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. Wouldn't that be nice? This portion of the show brought to you by the Butcher Shop. The Butcher Shop, you know where it is, in the Agri Center, right there at Walnut Grove and Germantown Road. Everybody knows about Hamburger Friday. It's the best doggone hamburger you ever put in your mouth, and it's every Friday. Hamburger Friday. It's known throughout the world, where they take all that steak and they grind it up a couple hours before they start the lunch, and it's so good. But there's Sunday and Monday dinners too, 5 to 8:30, $25 entrees that include a New York strip, slow roasted prime rib, Atlantic salmon with dill sauce. There's a pork chop. There's crab stuffed shrimp. 20% off appetizers and desserts. They do this, a special deal, every Sunday and Monday. Perfect for football if that's what you're in. They got all the TVs on. It's great. So many reasons why, including the Sunday lunch. You'll love the Butcher Shop. There's Hamburger Friday and a whole lot more at the Agri Center. Got to thank First Bank, Jason's Deli, Campbell Clinic, All-Star Chevrolet, Ronnie Grizzani, Schrader Orthopedic and Stem Cell Treatment Center, and Blue City for allowing our coverage with Brett down in Birmingham. We take a break, and when we come back, our friend Brent Beard always joins us in this time slot. Usually it's in Jacksonville, Florida. Today it's in Birmingham, Alabama, right next to Stats. That's next as hour number 2 begins of Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
Driving is freedom. The freedom to keep moving, to control your destiny, and to choose your path. And now, that freedom fits in the palm of your hand. It's called Ford Pass, the only app that gives you roadside assistance, Ford Pass rewards, and now when you buy or lease a new Ford, earn points you can use toward flexible complimentary maintenance that gives you, well, more freedom. Ford Pass, built to keep you moving. Built Ford proud. Visit your participating Ford dealership to find out about getting flexible complimentary maintenance when you buy or lease a new Ford and sign up for rewards.
Roadside assistance is included for certain Ford owners and available to everyone for a per-service fee. Ford reserves the right to change program details without obligations. Visit your participating dealer or FordPassRewards.com for program rules and restrictions. Ford Pass, compatible with select smartphone platforms, is available via a download.
I think one of the most underrated things about Sweetgrass is the view.
That's so true. I love sitting here enjoying the perfect food and the perfect drinks, watching Cooper Young, easily Memphis's most eclectic neighborhood, pass by these huge windows.
You never know what kind of interesting people are going to pass by.
Plus, you can just enjoy looking at this great neighborhood with all these historic buildings.
But really, it's the people that live here that make it so interesting.
It's everything you want in a special restaurant, unique food and drinks, and unique people walking by.
One more reason why Sweetgrass is our favorite restaurant in Memphis.
College football season is approaching quickly, and that means it's time for SEC Media Days. Brett Norsworthy is broadcasting live from Hoover, Alabama, all this week, previewing the upcoming season and bringing you interviews with players and coaches and SEC insiders. So tune into Sports Time with Wolo and Stats and throughout the rest of the day for SEC Media Days coverage right here on Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. Brought to you by First Bank, Jason's Deli, Campbell Clinic, Blue City Cafe, All-Star Chevrolet, Ronnie Grizzani's, and Schrader Orthopedic and Stem Cell Treatment Center.
Join our producer extraordinaire, Austin Eldridge, this Thursday from 11 to noon at Landers Ford, 2082 West Poplar, Collierville. This will be another chance to win World Golf Championship tickets at Southwind, July 24th through 28th. That's this Thursday from 11 to noon at Landers on Poplar in Collierville to practice your putting skills and have a chance to win WGC tickets at Southwind, July 24th through 28th. See you there.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, more of Sports Time with Wolo and Stats on Sports 56 and 87.7 FM. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshyn and Brett Norsworthy.
Welcome back in. I am in the Family Leisure Studios in Memphis, Family Leisure South, the least. That would be Birmingham. Brett standing by. Brent Beard's going to join us in a second. You heard the announcer man say. This hour of the show brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai in Olive Branch. That's Homer Skelton Hyundai and Homer Skelton Genesis, and I'm so proud to tell you they've been chosen to really start selling more Genesis cars, and not every Hyundai dealership has that ability. These guys do, and they're getting more, and there's more and more Genesis products coming every day. There's going to be a different entrance. It's really going to be cool, and it's because they do such a good job. Well, you're full of assurance. Let's face it, any Hyundai product like my Santa Fe or the new Palisade, wait till you see this Palisade, a little bit bigger than the Santa Fe. It is gorgeous with all the new stuff, including the wireless chargers and everything else that you can have. A third row seat that can pop up. It's very cool. All these cars get the assurance. That's 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty. And then, of course, if you go to Homer Skelton, you get the shopper assurance. I'll let Chris True tell you what that's all about. He's the GM. Ask for him. It's the way car business should be done. If you take Lamar into Mississippi, first exit, Craft Road, that's Homer Skelton Hyundai. So this is a busy day down in Birmingham. We head there now on Radio Row. Guys, Brent Beard's going to join us here. I just saw.
Yes, sir.
Herschel Walker, man, he looks like he could still play right now.
He could.
And then I saw Steve Spurrier.
He can't.
And well, he was still coaching. He did win the AAC.
He's a champion.
That's right.
The Alliance of American Football, the AAF. I got Brent Beard is with us, who is an SEC historian, particularly Georgia and Florida. Perfect for talking about Herschel and Steve Spurrier. My question is, I just saw this, and I don't know the answer, but I'm figuring one of you two do. Spurrier is one of four guys who's in the Hall of Fame, College Football Hall of Fame, as both a player and a coach. Who are the other three?
I'm going to guess Johnny Majors.
Could be. Yeah.
Do you have an answer, Dave? Or you?
I do not. Maybe True can Google it.
I'm going to guess Johnny Majors. I'm going to guess maybe Frank Broyles from his playing days at Georgia Tech and coaching, and maybe Darrell Royal from playing days at OU and coaching at Texas. That's just a guess.
I don't think Coach Bryant was. He was the other end. He was the other end of Don Hudson, but he was a great player.
Yeah. Don Hudson from Pine Bluff, Arkansas.
Yeah.
Darrell Royal makes a lot of sense to me because I know he was a great player.
Bud Wilkinson was a really good player at Minnesota.
That could be
a great coach. But Steve Spurrier, to win a Heisman Trophy, Brent, as a player, and then to finally catapult Florida to what they always thought was their rightful spot. He did it. Good afternoon. We get to see each other about 4 times a year.
I know it. It's wonderful. It's great to be able to be here. So we've caught up a little bit. Enjoyed that. We got the fans in front of us, as we always do here in Hoover. So and there's a guy there in the front. He's been here 2 days in a row. Hadn't moved. He's been busier almost than you and me.
I think that's an autograph collector.
That probably.
I think that because I saw Herschel stiff arm him.
Right.
I saw Herschel give him the Heisman pose.
By the way, since you bring up Herschel about 2 or 3 years ago came to Memphis. He was speaking to what was then called the Lipscomb Pitts Breakfast Club. It's now Crescent City, and he gave one of the most stirring speeches for a guy who could not talk without a stutter to begin with. And I know that was Bo too, but Herschel had the same sort of problem and was so shy to become what he's become. And he's an incredibly successful businessman in a bunch of different ventures. It's a great story. I think have we lost our signal down there? Wow. By the way, the other three are Amos Alonzo Stagg, Bobby Dodd, and Bowden Wyatt. So those are the three that are in as both coaches and as players. I think we've regained our connection.
First boo-boo, I think I hit the button. But you were talking about Herschel in Memphis, Dave. I'm sorry.
Yes. No, yeah. I was just basically saying what an amazing businessman he's become, from this young, shy, reticent guy to an eloquent speaker and an unbelievable businessman.
He has, Brent.
I think what you can learn from that is that you can have some difficult things in your life, but if you deal with them and you get them treated, you kind of bring out who is inside of you, and you're able to compete with some of the best of them, whether it be on the field or whether it be in the business world. And he is that way. And Dave, I told Brett a few minutes ago, I know Herschel has done more push-ups and sit-ups than Brett and I combined today.
He's done more. Let's start with your hometown of Jacksonville and the cocktail party. Should we be worried that game may not always be there, Brent?
Here's what I think is going to happen. The contract is over in 2021. They're negotiating now. And I'm telling you, Brent, the city of Jacksonville will not give that up without a real fight. So what they're doing is negotiating it. We've heard 5-year extension. I'm guessing probably closer to 3, which would put it in Jacksonville to about 2024, 2025. And then after that, the truth of the matter is it's probably up for grabs. So we really don't know where that's going to go. We hope it stays there. It's a true neutral site game, 50-50. But for the first time in a long time, we can say it's an indefinite situation. Both teams get about $3 million apiece.
They're talking, and we've lost him again. That was Brett Baird, who always joins us now. He was basically talking about the game that is the true neutral game in Jacksonville. It used to be called the cocktail party, between Florida and Georgia. And to me, what is intriguing is that throughout all these years, we have seen all these games. For instance, Memphis used to be sort of a neutral site game at Crump Stadium. And Jackson was the same for Mississippi and Mississippi State. Birmingham was the same for Auburn and Alabama. Every one of those games gone because of the investments that schools made into their own stadiums. And I don't know how this game has survived. We'll try to revisit with Brent and Brett about that. But it has. And part of that is you could just hear exactly what the price is. It's $3 million per team. So the city of Jacksonville is putting up $6 million to keep this. Guys, we are getting you back, and I addressed this to Brent, who was speaking so eloquently. How is it that Jackson, Mississippi lost Ole Miss and Mississippi State? Memphis lost neutral games at Crump Stadium that used to be big. We know Birmingham at Legion Field lost Alabama and Auburn, right, sort of neutral games. And Jacksonville's been able to hold on to this one game. We heard the $6 million. What's the real reason? How did they keep this game?
I think they have made it, Dave, a priority for them in the city. And see, they take care of a lot of travel expenses and so forth. I mean, this stuff's always about money, but it's been also such a great tradition, frankly. And if you've ever been to a game, it's the closest thing to Oklahoma, Texas, as far as the crowd being split 50-50. And
that's still
and really only it is. And we're really, Dave, only the last few years that it has even been in some question as to what happens. But again, how you sell that is you go to these guys and said, fellas, you're going to get to play in a neutral site game in an event that you've never been at before, and the city is alive about it. They're excited about it. So, I mean, you can sell the game staying there as much as you can sell the game going to the campuses.
Those two teams own the field. Georgia's gotten there. Kirby's had the head start on Dan Mullen. Now Dan Mullen's trying to get there. Jake Fromm, I love. I'm picking him as my Heisman Trophy winner. I'm picking Georgia in the East. I'm picking Georgia in the college football playoff. How does Florida upset that?
They would. I think they are still a year away or two with their roster. Georgia has the better roster. Now, the problem is Georgia also has a better offensive line. Florida's losing 4 starters, and they've got to be able to redo that, guys. And if they can, they'll be much better off, I think, in a year or two. I'm not saying Florida cannot upset them on a given day, because to Mullen's credit, Mullen has taken 3 stars and 4 stars, and he and that staff have developed this football team to where I think they're going to be contenders, could win double-digit games again this season. Where he's really done a good job is with Felipe Franks, the quarterback. That's what's going to make the difference. Now, one thing, we have podium talk and we have hall talk. Now, the hall talk is what I get more out of than anything else. Talked to a Georgia beat writer. I asked him about what's the situation behind Fromm. He said if Fromm gets hurt, our season's over. Over.
They'll miss Justin Fields then, won't
yes, because what I was told is they basically get DeAndre Swift, put him in a wing tee, and hope for the best. How about that?
It's hard to win that way, isn't it, Dave?
It is. I was looking at the Kirby Smart record, 32-10 in 3 years, which is tied for the most wins in the first 3 seasons ever at Georgia, which has a pretty storied history. That was just a great hire. I mean, I don't think we have to guess anymore, right?
No. It was an excellent hire. And listen, with that record, guys, that was even after the first year. And 4th and dumb with Vanderbilt. You remember that one?
Yeah.
Instead of going to Chubb up the middle, that they decided to run their 165-pound receiver scat back around the end.
8-5 first year that ended in Memphis.
That's right.
Over TCU.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but Kirby, with what he's learned, certainly from Nick Saban, but being there for nearly 10 years. Kirby's a tremendous recruiter. They've got guys who can develop players. See, it's just the whole package with this situation. When you can recruit 5 stars and you're among the top 3 in recruiting, and you can develop these guys with the line of scrimmage that they've had now with Sam Pittman as the offensive line coach, you add all that together, and you're going to be playing for championships at the end of the year.
I have a question that is about Ole Miss, and of course, they're there today as well. And I did not realize until just today that they have lost 8 starters on offense. They got 3 guys coming back, new quarterback, and I knew a new offensive coordinator. How long with a new system do you think it takes for 8 guys to be incorporated into the offense the way that Matt Luke and
Rich Rodriguez.
And thank you. I couldn't think of his name for a minute. For them to be happy.
And Brent, Dave wants it to be at least 4 quarters.
Exactly.
Ole Miss open up and down.
That is 4 quarters is plenty.
But if you listen to Matt Luke, he will tell you that even with the losses, having Rich Rod there, I thought this was interesting. He said they're going to not only run the ball, he thinks they'll be successful running the ball. Brent knows only too well that one of the things missing from them the last few years is a sustained rushing attack for them to be much more dangerous than what they've been.
Yeah. Could never work on any clock late in games. And, last year had a 10-point lead at home against South Carolina and had 2 back-to-back offensive series, Dave, where they went out there and went 3 and out.
Yep.
Total time chewed on the clock, maybe 30 seconds,
right.
Maybe a minute. Okay,
minute.
And the defense dead tired, not very good, not very talented, already kind of in a scramble. And South Carolina was able to come back and steal that win with a third-string running back because you got to be able to run the ball.
Yes.
That in getting that 4 and 5 and 6-minute offense.
Well, and see, Dave and Brett, the thing that Luke told us today, which was interesting, besides they're back to 85-man scholarships, which is wonderful to hear from an Ole Miss fan. He said not only will they be able to run the ball, he said they're going to be much more physical running the ball than they have been. And that's something we haven't seen enough of Ole Miss from, is only being able to run the ball, Brett, but being physical and doing it too.
Let's face it. Okay. I mean, you lost 8 guys, right? But you lost 8 guys on a team that was 1-7 in the SEC.
Sure.
Sometimes that's a blessing.
Yeah, but a couple of those were key contributors like Greg Little and A.J. Brown and Javon Patterson and even Jordan Ta'amu.
Sure.
But now we'll see what Matt Corral can do. Back on go back to Georgia just a little bit. How much does it burn their fans? Look, I think Herschel Walker is the greatest single offensive player, if not player. Derek Thomas may be second.
Right.
But I think Herschel Walker is the greatest player in the history of the SEC. I love him. But Herschel ruled the world a long time ago. It's 39 years since that national championship. How much
That's
did it
long? Oh, it does. It's been a long time for them, but they have gone through Ray Goff and they have gone through your Mark Richt. As much as they love him, they knew they could not win big games like they're winning now. So this is by far. And I've got a son-in-law. This is a big Georgia Bulldog too. So the thing you hear from Georgia fans, they've got hope right now that they haven't had, frankly, since Herschel was there.
Well, I got this question for you guys, and I don't dispute at all what Brett said. I think you're right, Stats. I think if I were voting, Herschel Walker would be number one. But in this day and age, can your greatest player be your running back? I think it's got to be your quarterback. Have we lost you guys again, or are you stymied? It's interesting. I don't know what it is, but when I've interjected a question, we seem to have lost the two-way communication there. But again, and I probably throw Bo in there as the second best player, and those guys were both running backs, and they primarily did it running the football, not catching the football. In this day and age, I don't think that guy can be that guy. I think we got you guys back again. Did you hear the question?
I'm sorry, repeat it, Dave.
Repeat it, please.
The question was that I didn't disagree at all with Brett's notion that Herschel Walker is the greatest offensive player or the greatest player in the history of the SEC. But in this day and age, can a running back, especially one that just runs, doesn't even catch the football, can that player be your greatest player?
Well, I saw Bo also, and when Bo got around the end, he put it in another gear that there really wasn't anything those guys can do. I do think defenses are better now. I mean, that's a astute point. I would say now your greatest player would be more towards your quarterback.
That's exactly what
because
I said.
He's going to make more plays right now.
It's hard to catch the edge. It's hard to turn the corner.
It is. There's no question about that.
There's just too much speed.
It is.
It's big guys. The proverbial sealing the edge.
Yeah.
Basically, guys, great minds think alike. Because I brought up Bo, and he would have been my second guy. But I don't think in this day and age a running back can be that guy. I think it has to be your quarterback.
But for 1 year players, what Cam Newton did was phenomenal.
Yeah, correct.
But it was just 1 year.
Right.
Johnny just 2.
Yes.
Herschel just 3.
Right. Yeah. And you could put Tebow in there too.
Yeah.
But see, the thing with Tebow was that it was the dual threat. But see, Tebow had what these guys had too, the will to win. He had a mind that was unlike others. That's why these guys are generational players.
It's why they are generational players. Brent, it's always good to see you every week. We'll see you in a couple of press boxes as the year
absolutely
wears on. I know I'll probably see you in Tuscaloosa in late September for Bama and Ole Miss, and we'll visit next Tuesday afternoon.
Guys, always a pleasure. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much. Brent Beard from Jacksonville, 9:30 a.m. in Jacksonville, visiting with us every week about the SEC and college football. And I love to tell you about Harry's. Look, you know what I packed when I came to Birmingham? I packed my Harry's shave kit. A lot of guys, they buy disposable razors when they travel, but smart ones don't. This summer, you don't have to sacrifice quality for price. Join the 10 million who have tried Harry's. Get a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, shave gel, and travel cover, all for just $3 plus free shipping. Just use offer code STATS at harrys.com. Harry's founders, 2 regular guys, Jeff and Andy, they were tired of getting ripped off and paying for overpriced razors. What'd they do? They bought the company. Literally, they own a world-class blade factory in Germany that's been making some of the best razor blades in the world for almost 100 years. 100% quality guarantee. Harry's cares about giving back 1% of sales donated to charitable organizations. This summer, Harry's has a special offer for listeners of this show. New customers get $5 off a trial set from Harry's with code STATS at harrys.com. That means you get a razor, weighted handle, foaming shave gel, and travel cover, all for just $3 plus free shipping when you use code STATS at harrys.com. When I shave, I shave with Harry's.
By the way, I'm searching for. Here we go. The three guys that, other than Steve Spurrier, that are in the College Football Hall of Fame as coaches and players are Amos Alonzo Stagg.
I'd have never gotten it.
Bobby Dodd.
Dodd.
Dodd, I'm sorry. And Bowden Wyatt. None of us would have gotten that.
And two of those three that you just named,
Yeah.
Bobby Dodd
Right.
and Bowden Wyatt, both played at Tennessee, and Bowden Wyatt later coached at Tennessee. They wanted Bobby Dodd a lot of times, but he wouldn't come back, and Bowden Wyatt coached at Arkansas and then went to Tennessee, took the Razorbacks to a Cotton Bowl. As a thank you for getting the Razorbacks to a Cotton Bowl, Boosters bought him a Cadillac. He drove it to Knoxville.
Good job of getting that, Drew. That was good. That was good. Yeah, I never would have gotten any of those guys. I really thought you were on the money, Brett, with your picks. But there you go. There you go. So I back for just 1 second to your interview with Jimmy Hyams. Do you think he put a little bit of pressure on Jeremy Pruitt, saying basically he's got to get to a bowl game this year? And I like it that he picked the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, because I think Steve Earhart would take that right now if given that opportunity. And we will have to wait on that one as our friend. Again, we've lost our connection in Birmingham, Alabama. I'll let you know this portion of the show brought to you by Soulfish. Soulfish Cafe is a marvelous place. It is a place that people marvel at because it's one best Memphis restaurant in 3 categories. Catfish, which you all know. Then there was seafood, and they do have the best fried shrimp. And, well, it's got this little tinge. You can get it blackened, by the way, but if you get the fried, it's got something in it, the batter. It's special. And then it was best soul food. And they do have some veggies that are just beyond belief. Always fresh, always terrific. Everything's made from scratch. If you get, let's say, the tacos, the guacamole, and the salsa made by the chef every day from scratch. Everything is terrific, and they keep getting bigger. I believe Wolf Chase is about to open. You know the original in Cooper Young? Then they went to Germantown, but right on the border line with Collierville and the shops of Forest Hill, Irene. Then, and this was smart, they moved in East Memphis, just east of Perkins on Poplar in the old Wolf Camera location. Now they got one in Wolf Chase. They got one in Little Rock. They got one in Oxford. It's an empire, and it's really good. Go to the nearest one. You'll thank me later. Soul Fish Cafe. We take the break. When we come back, Beau Marchant from collegetopro.com. He's next on Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
Tune into Johnny Radio's Happy Hour with John Hardin. Weekday afternoons from 1 till 3 on Sports 56 and 87.7 FM.
Hi, this is John Conway with Conway Services. Is your air conditioning system ready for the hot Memphis summer? Good news, it's spring cleaning time at Conway Services. We'll come out and perform our exclusive 16-point Energy Saver Super Tune-Up on your air conditioning system for only $69. Did you know the #1 cause of air conditioning system breakdown is dirt? A dirty air conditioning system can literally starve the life from your home's cooling system, causing untimely breakdowns, higher utility costs, and even premature equipment failure. We'll remove years of dirt, grime, and leaves from your air conditioning system, making sure you're ready for the hot Memphis summer, all for only $69. It's like taking your air conditioner to a car wash. Plus, right now, we'll treat your air conditioner with a special Teflon coating to help protect against the hot Memphis sun. So call Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric service company at 384-3511.
Family Leisure's pool clearance sale is July 8th through the 21st. Above ground pools starting at $11.99. 24-foot pools starting at $17.99. And you can get free upgrades on select pools that include pool filters, liners, and winter covers. Special 12-month financing is available. Plus, half off on toys, floats, and pool games. Summer's just started. There's plenty of time to swim, so make a splash at the Family Leisure Pool Clearance Sale. Family Leisure, Whitten Road and I-40, where family and fun come together.
Chris, I understand that you had some spine issues that were very debilitating, and Schrader Orthopedic actually changed your life. What happened?
After spinal fusion surgery 24 years ago, I could feel bones rubbing together, I had sciatic issues, arthritis. I had been told I needed another fusion surgery because I was having problems with getting out of bed, walking, carrying my child. Went to Schrader Orthopedics, got the stem cell therapy. It's been a year now, and my life has changed. I get up, I bounce out of bed, I can carry my daughter, I can do yard work, so completely changed. Basically, I forgot the pain I was in prior to that time. I felt like I was in my 20s and was able to do things that I wasn't able to play golf without being in pain for 2 days. Most of it was the neurological benefit of not having that pain every minute of your life.
Call 901-465-4300 and see how Schrader Orthopedic and Stem Cell can help you today.
The best golfers in the world are coming to Memphis for the inaugural WGC FedEx St. Jude Invitational. Sports 56 will be broadcasting live at TPC Southwind throughout the day, Wednesday through Friday of tournament week, keeping you up to date with the latest tournament news and talking with players and officials. Our coverage from TPC Southwind on Sports 56 is presented by Landers Ford. Also brought to you by Roosters Men's Grooming Center, Blue City Cafe, Edwin Watts, Jason's Deli, First Bank, Memphis Paints, and Ronnie Grisanti's.
Hey, you guys, Memphis Paints and Sports 56 are teaming up Friday, July 19th. Come win lots of door prizes, 4 golf rounds at Wedgwood, gift cards at the Butcher Shop, and 2 lucky people win 2 box seats to the FedEx World Championship Golf Tournament, valued at $400 apiece. Wow, don't forget, complimentary Central Barbecue, yum. See y'all Friday, July 19th, Memphis Paints, 699 South Mendenhall, across the street from Half Shell. Come hungry.
Memphis Paint, 699 Mendenhall, Friday, July 19th. Sports 56 live from 3 to 6 p.m.
Now, more of Sports Time with Wolo and Stats on Sports 56 and 87.7 FM. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Welcome back in. I am in the Family Leisure Studios in Memphis. You know that our friend Brett Norsworthy anchoring the desk at Radio Row down in Birmingham for SEC Media Days, brought to you by First Bank, by Jason's Deli, by Campbell Clinic, by All-Star Chevrolet, Ronnie Grisanti's, Schrader Orthopedic and Stem Cell Treatment Center, and the great restaurant downtown, Blues City. Brett, you all set? You squared away?
I am. We are.
All right. Let's bring in, as we always do, our friend Bo Marchant, because we're getting closer and closer and closer to the National Football League and the Hall of Fame game. Bo Marchant joins us. Now, I want to start with
16 days.
Is that all? 16 days? And the story this week about Jadeveon Clowney, the Texans linebacker, who's one of the toughest players in the league, did not get his deal done with Houston. Is that a surprise to you?
Yeah, I don't think it is a surprise to me personally. I just think you're talking about an enormous amount of money, and Jadeveon has been fantastic, but nonetheless, I don't think he's ever lived up to the standing of the number 1 overall pick in the NFL draft. It's as good as he's been, but I think when you're the number 1 pick, you almost have to be transcending, and I don't know if they got that out of Clowney. I think they definitely like to get him to a longer deal if it's going to be manageable to the cap. But as we know, I mean, Deshaun Watson's going to be on that rookie. He's on that rookie cap now, or that rookie contract, and and this year or the next year, he's going to probably be due a significant upgrade in pay. So I think in the back of the Texans' mind is, we'd love to have Jadeveon Clowney in house and keep him. But, we know that Deshaun Watson's the future of this franchise, and we're going to have to kind of keep that on the back burner and make sure we can take care of him when that time comes.
And we are getting there was one good little tidbit. This is not really for this coming year, but Washington quarterback Alex Smith, who had that awful injury 8 months ago, he broke his tibia and fibula in pretty gruesome fashion. Apparently, he's taken his brace off, and he thinks he's going to play, not this year, obviously, but maybe by the year after.
Well, it probably won't be for Washington if it pans out for the way Washington wants it.
With Haskins, yeah.
We all know Dwayne Haskins is the guy in Case Keenum, the perennial backup or journeyman, if you will. So it's going to be a rough road for Alex Smith to kind of get back. But if he can remain healthy, when you look at his age, I mean, he came into the same draft as Aaron Rodgers. I think Aaron's like 35 or 36. So it's not out of sorts to think that Alex Smith couldn't be a serviceable quarterback to a team, in need of an older guy with some success. So I wouldn't rule him out in that aspect, but to think that he's going to return and kind of be the guy under center, the guy that they want in Washington, I think is a little bit of a pipe dream. Let me ask you guys this: Theismann or Smith? Is Theismann still heads above shoulders on the most gruesome, or did you put Smith in some of the category where he could be comparable?
I go back to Theismann because I know Joe. I think that was the first time I'd ever seen anything like that. And when it first happened, ABC stayed on it for a bit. I think that, to me, is the most gruesome. We're having a little technical problem with Brett, so it's just you and me, Bo. And what do you think?
I think, I was a young kid when it happened to Joe Theismann, and growing up as a Washington fan, that was pretty significant as well. You knew Super Bowl dreams were kind of lost, and it was, again, at the time, probably the most horrific injury that I recall. It's almost one of those injuries, almost the historical moments in time. That was kind of a historical moment, I think, in terms of playing, or watching the game of football in terms of injuries. So, for me, it was Theismann. And hopefully we don't see anything that beats that.
I agree. And it's interesting because the book about Michael Orr actually starts with that particular play because it sort of explains how the NFL changed its total philosophy about payment. The quarterback was still the number one, but then you had to protect your investment, so the number two paid guy basically became either the left tackle or the guy that was going to do all the damage, your defensive rush end.
And that's a good point, and you're right. It kind of did take that step after that point, and we see it in the draft. I mean, you see the the possibilities of enormous talented offensive tackles, basically vying for that top notch. Seldom used for anything else. You have a defensive end, a quarterback, or an offensive tackle, and if you're not one of those three, it's going to be pretty hard for you to kind of claim that number one spot when draft time comes.
Brett hates me talking about this, and I only bring it up because I'm a big Robbie Gould fan, as you know. But he got his deal done with the 49ers. And I'm curious what you think about kickers. I really am. I'm looking for the deal now. I want to say that I think it's 2-year, $10 million guarantee, but it could be longer, up to 15 or 19 million bucks. Some crazy kind of money. How are important are kickers in your mind, and how much money would you spend? I know Gotti gets a bunch of money with New England.
You know what? I think they're important. I think the big thing with kickers is, they're so on the spot when they have to perform, and we usually remember them for the kicks that they make or they do not make. So in terms of Robbie Gould, I mean, he has to kind of be lights out now. You have to be clutch, and you start thinking about the clutch pitchers and sort of Gostkowski or Vinatieri, the guys that have really made a predominant impact, especially in the playoffs. And I think if you miss that opportunity to be that guy, that's when it comes back to haunt you. I mean, look at Chris Boswell with the Steelers. I mean, you talked about a guy 2 years ago where, he was the Pro Bowl caliber guy, and then it just everything, went south on him. And this guy, he couldn't kick the side of a barn. And you wonder, that's what it is that consistency. I think if you could find that guy and you really feel that this guy, you're never going to know, but I mean, if you have that trust that this guy is, key and he can be that consistent long leg that you need, I think it's imperative to have a guy that, can put the ball, through the uprights. Because we see, if you don't have that guy, it's going to be, we go back. I mean, I always think of Gary Anderson, fantastic career. Went the whole season with the Vikings, basically making every field goal, I think, that year. And then he gets to the NFC Championship against the Falcons and opportunity to send Minnesota to the Super Bowl. And, he missed it. I believe that was at home, too. And, the Falcons go on to the Super Bowl, and that was the closest that Vikings team got that had Culpepper, Moss, and Chris Carter.
Right.
And so it's critical. I would invest the money. I think there's enough money, I shouldn't say wasted, but there's enough money doused around all the other positions that if you feel comfortable, the guy that needs to get you 3 points or that extra point, I think that money is worth it.
I think if you think about it here, and you're talking about he got a 2-year, $10.5 million fully guaranteed contract. It includes options, which could turn it into a 4-year, $19 million deal, which is $15 million guaranteed. It's about $4 million a year. In terms of your total payroll, that's nothing. And for a guy that it's critical, wins games for you, now the extra points are a little bit harder. I mean, I think it's worth the money.
Yeah, I do. Like I said, I would pay those guys. We see it time and time again. We see it in college football more than anything. I mean, you can have some of these elite college programs, and then the guy comes out to kick the ball, and he has the skill level of a 7th grader trying to come out and do this, and he's at one of the most prestigious programs in the nation. So, and they fall apart. You can't get the ball through the uprights. I mean, especially so. It's difficult, and we know that. And you think of like Robbie Gould. I mean, when did he? I think he's been in the league since like 2004, 2005.
Right. And the
Bears. I think he came in as
The Bears gave up on him.
I think originally
4 years ago. Thought he was done, and all he's been is great. Now he got this good deal from the 49ers, and I agree. I mean, the Bears might have gone a lot further in the playoffs if they had Robbie Gould and not Parkey.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, right there is a perfect example. If you talk about your favorite team in Chicago.
Right.
If they had Robbie Gould or a guy that, because Cody Parkey was out of the league. I mean, he was kicking for the Eagles and he wasn't anywhere. He'd come back with the Browns. It's kind of, back and forth. But, Robbie Gould, I mean, you can kind of look back and say, yeah, that was a big oopsie from the Bears to let him go. I mean, I think, just the casual fan. I mean, how many kickers probably the casual fan, how many fans can kind of start naming kickers from almost every team or, name a kicker. And I think if you say Robbie Gould, I think that would be one of the names, that definitely comes out of most of their mouth. And the bulk of that is from what he was able to do in Chicago. So
I think you'd be thinking of Stephen Gostkowski now because he's been successful for a long time with the best team in the Patriots. So as we get set, and we're just 2 weeks and a couple of days away from the Hall of Fame game, what's your favorite story? Because it's been a quiet week, and we're talking kickers here. We know it's quiet.
Well, I guess we're talking Hall of Fame. We're talking kickers. Stories. Pete Ferrelli, he's kind of in charge of everything, in terms of media up at the Hall of Fame. Sometimes I'll try to get interviews with certain guys. And I was trying to chase down a Jan Stenerud interview for the longest time. He played with the Chiefs and the Vikings. And I don't know why Jan Stenerud was one of my favorite players growing up. I don't know if it's because I was collecting trading cards and I just loved buying a Jan Stenerud. Just something I like to do. And when I got the opportunity to meet Jan and interview him, it's just fantastic because you kind of look at these guys and, and you kind of get to talk. But the unique thing about him is, he came from overseas. He came to the States because he was on a skiing scholarship.
Right.
And obviously his background, he could play that. And great thing. And he talked about, being in Hank Stram's office, as a rookie and, and some of the things Hank would say to him. And even throughout his career, why he was still with Hank Stram, some of the things, I think he, talked about his age. He said, you might feel you're young, but you're not. So you're not with the team anymore. Things like that. I mean, the things that the old timers got. So I'd say the Jan Stenerud is definitely one of my favorite interviews.
And Hank Stram is one of my favorite interviews. I always thought he was fun and funny. And when they mic'd him up for the Super Bowl and that touchdown, whatever the play is, he goes, 92 7X. I told you.
Yeah, I tell you what. I mean, Hank Stram mic'd up. I mean, that's unlimited entertainment. I mean, you watch Football Follies, or those old games when he's on a roll. There's nothing seen better than Hank Stram kind of get after those guys.
Well, since you're talking about that, and you talked about Stenerud, wasn't it Garo Yepremian that had the biggest folly of all on an attempted field goal or extra point? You know what I'm talking about?
Is he the one that swung and did the big roundup and missed it?
Missed it, and the ball came to him. He's trying to pass it, and he whiffed it.
Yeah, your premium with it.
Yeah, I did love that. I really did. So here we are, and as you say, I mean, it is absolutely here. And I guess what it is New England that is the overall favorite by Vegas to win this thing, right? Is that's just the
I
right
believe so. I
passage.
mean,
Yeah.
I don't check that much, but I would assume they are.
This
More
run,
money might be there.
How long can Tom Brady be as effective as he's been? Can he keep? Because remember with Peyton, it happened quickly. He had a great first half year. He was at a record pace, and then of course he had a neck injury that Tom Brady does not suffer from. But then it just went so fast, loss of arm strength, and they won the Super Bowl, but their defense won the Super Bowl that year. There's no question about that. He sort of managed the game well. But do you see that there will be any kind of drop-off from Brady?
I mean, common sense thinks it has to come eventually. I mean, as great as Tom Terrific is, Father Time will catch up to him. I don't see it coming this year. I guess that's about the only thing I could say in terms of, do I see him slowing down now? No, because he's given off no indications. I even think with Peyton, he kind of got a little bit of that inkling of it. With Tom, it just doesn't seem to be the case. And, and like any smart quarterback, especially playing, entering his 20th season, he knows when to get rid of the ball. He knows how to take a hit. He knows how to protect himself. If that line can do a diligent job of keeping him upright, I don't see why he can't perform at a high level for the next 2 seasons. It's just the way the day and age is and the way he takes care of himself. I mean, I think the off season for these guys, and especially like a guy like him in terms of, the TB12 and everything he's doing in terms of staying in shape and kind of taking that to the next level in terms of overall health. Who knows? But I think right now, 2 years, I'd feel confident having Brady under center for 2 years. And, if it's 3 years, I wouldn't be shocked. But then again, I wouldn't be shocked if it's 3 years where you're kind of saying, hey, this is the actual legit time that he has to walk off. But, like with Manning, it's going to happen quick. And it's going to come off fast, I think, and it'll be sad because you don't want to see these guys look like that because they've been so dominant. But hopefully he knows when to pull the trigger, and he seems like he does. He really seems like And Bo, he's been in the league for 20 years. Well, he's been in the league for 20 years, but he's still the best at it. So that's why you could say I don't think he'll ever get to that point where he looks beat up and shoddy and and doesn't have the game. I think he'll know saying, hey, I'm not going to come back and. He'll go and count. Who knows? He might have 8 rings in 2 years, maybe 7.
Well, you bring up an interesting point. I think with sports medicine now, and even things like the freeze chambers, cryo technology, whatever the term is, where you go in and it's freezing cold and you stay in there for a minute and a half. All these things have added to longevity, and I think, and Brady's discipline goes a long way, but I think it's those things that have really served him well. Bo, thank you much. I appreciate it. We'll be a week away when we talk to you next week. It won't be quite as hectic with all the stuff, with all these media days going around the country. Thank you much. That is Bo Marchant, College to Pro. We take the break. When we come back down to Birmingham, we will go again. Nick Suss from the Clarion Ledger. We'll talk some Ole Miss football with Brett and with him. I'll let you know this portion of the show is brought to you by Ken Garland. Ken Garland, Custom Home Builders. Ken knows it's a big deal. If you're building that dream home after all these years, you've waited, you bought the piece of property, maybe you've been waiting on it. Maybe it's a renovation of your old home because you want to stay there. You love the location, but you want the modern amenities. Either way, you've got a winner with Ken Garland Custom Home Builders, in the business about 40 years. His dad, now him, all quality. And you can go see it yourself. KenGarland.com. Go to the website, take a look, and see what he has done around this Metroplex for the last, as I say, 2 generations worth. It is really remarkable work. And then call 751-1632. If you are looking for a piece of land, he's got it. Like I say, if you have this purchase and now you're ready financially, you're not sure what to do with it, he knows. He's a complete design and build firm. And by the way, he does not send at all Foreman Supers, he's there. He's there with you. Again, make that call. 751-6032. Ken Garland, Custom Home Builders. We take the break. Back to Birmingham in a minute. This is Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
From Penny, the Tiger player,
I think it's just Anthony Hardaway this and Anthony Hardaway that, but we have just more than one player on the team.
through Penny, the Tiger coach.
Well, I think the main game plan is we can teach you. We're going to develop you. We're going to get you better.
For over 25 years, we have been real sports talk for Memphis in the Mid-South. Sports 56 and 87.7 FM.
Is your wife asking you to stop eating junk food? Well, we have you covered at Humdinger's. It's quick and it's healthy, and most important, it tastes amazing. With many choices from salmon salad to rainbow trout and grilled asparagus. Come visit us for lunch at Humdinger's, 6300 Poplar Avenue. So good, Coach Penny eats with us weekly. Don't forget, Humdinger's offers full-service catering for weddings, social events, or your corporate lunches. You can call 901-260-8292 to find out more.
Hi folks, Rob Walker, Infinity of Memphis, and we've got a new Infinity crossover vehicle that has raised the standard of comparison to a new level. Imagine having both sports car performance and eco-friendly efficiency on demand, working together to empower every driving experience. The result of 20 years of engineering, QX50's award-winning variable compression turbo engine is the world's only engine of its kind. Like two engines in one, it delivers a combination of power and efficiency that is truly in a category all its own, and only Infinity has it. You'll never sacrifice performance for the sake of efficiency again. And QX50 MSRP starts at only $36,550, which is less than its Acura, Audi, and Mercedes competitors. Add to that QX50's award-winning sumptuous interior, and you have the best combination of performance and comfort in the mid-size crossover segment.
MSRP excludes destination charge, tax, title, license, and options. Infinity of Memphis or online at infinityofmemphis.com.
This is Peter on his motorcycle. And this is Peter off his motorcycle.
Please move your paper off my desk. Thank you.
On his motorcycle.
I feel so alive!
Off his motorcycle.
I feel like we covered that already, so...
On.
Wow! Look at the ocean!
Off.
Look at this article I found about urban planning.
You're better on your bike. Progressive helps keep you on it. Get a quote in as little as 3 minutes at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Frontier Western Store's world-famous boot showroom is waiting for you. With aisles and aisles of boots in one easy spot, you will find your next favorite pair at Frontier. Everyone loves Ariat boots, and Frontier has over 1,000 pair in that brand alone. Come grab a pair of rugged work boots like the Workhog, or discover an everyday classic in Ariat's Rambler. Tons of other brands as well: Rocky, Dan Post, Red Wing, Durango, Justin, Twisted X, and many more. Frontier constantly restocks and refreshes their lineup of boots, so you're certain to walk out of the store happy in your new comfortable footwear. They have a wide assortment of sizes available for men, women, and children. Work, dress, or play, Frontier's knowledgeable staff will cheerfully help you find the perfect fit. It's boots galore at Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road, Olive Branch, or on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Family owned and operated, you know it, since 1967.
Now, more of Sports Time with Wolo and Stats on Sports 56 and 87.7 FM. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
We welcome you back to Radio Row, and we're talking Ole Miss, and we're doing it with Nick Suss from the Clarion Ledger. He joins us now along Radio Row. Dave Woloshin back in our Family Leisure Studios. Nick Suss, it was Ole Miss Appearance Day, and Matt Corral, not a true freshman, but a freshman quarterback, made his way through the media today, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he was the only – there are 42 players at SEC Media Days this week. He's the only non-junior or senior in the bunch. He's the young guy, and Ole Miss seems to have a lot of confidence in him. Matt Luke said something along the lines of, we kind of made him an unwilling leader, and Matt said, no, I was willing. This is the way I wanted it to be. I wanted to come and be the guy who could lead early, who could play early, and he's the starter by de facto, and he's also the starter on this team. He's taken over as the quarterback.
He seems able to handle it, doesn't he?
Yeah, no, he definitely seems like he's prepared, he's ready. The talent's obviously never going to be an issue with him. He was the number 4 quarterback in the country coming out of high school. Everybody knows he has that ability. Maybe he needs to rein in his temper a little bit. Maybe that's the criticism on him. But, I mean, he talked about that today. He talked about knowing how to control that and how that's been something he's focused on.
He almost caused a nuclear exchange in the Egg Bowl last year.
Yeah, you could have called that a nuclear exchange.
It was close.
When every single player, I think it was 152 personal fouls were assessed or something. I mean, when that happens, that's pretty tough. But he's learning, he's maturing. They don't have a single sophomore, junior, or senior in that quarterback room. It's 4 freshmen. He's the redshirt freshman. The other 3 are true freshmen.
Well, and
he's got to be the leader.
On the whole offense, there's not a lot of guys that are really back. I mean, 8 new starters there, new offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator. How long? What's the adjustment period for both sides of the ball with all these new faces?
Well, the unfortunate thing is they don't really have time to adjust. As you all know, that first game is in Memphis, and that's going to determine a lot about what this team can be. Week 2, they're playing Arkansas, a team that is probably the most competitive team for them in the SEC West this season. Those are 2 of the most important games, maybe the 2 most important games on the schedule, so they won't have too much time to improvise and adjust. They're going to have to be ready week 1. So that means what they were able to do in spring with their early enrollees and with the guys who were there from the team last year, learning Rich Rodriguez's offense, learning Mike McIntyre's 3-4 defense, that had to have been the adjustment. And this summer they have to get in shape, and then the 4 weeks of practices in August, they're gonna have to make sure everything's ready so that August 31st they know what they're doing.
Who will be the 5 offensive linemen? Do they have 5 they can count on?
Yeah, I think they eventually will. I think we can guarantee right now that Alex Givens is going to be one of them. Ben Brown is going to.
And it looks like we've got a little technical problem again, and we apologize for all of that. So we will continue from Birmingham in just a little bit, maybe a little different way. In the meantime, one of the big stories today, again, was Mike Oresco's address at the American Athletic Conference and the order of expected finish by these teams, and Memphis was picked to win in the West. Memphis was 3rd overall when it came to the total media poll, and it was really not that close. UCF was the winner, and they were the best pick in the East. Then Cincinnati was 2nd, Memphis 3rd, and Houston was 4th. The order was UCF with 169 points in the East, Cincinnati 2, about 12 points below them. So a pretty decided advantage, 19 first-place votes to 11. USF 3rd without a first-place vote. They had 107 points. East Carolina 66 at 5th in the East, and then UConn last, and they had the lowest point total by anybody at 30. Memphis 1, Houston 2, Tulane 3, SMU 4, and Tulsa was 5th. Nick Suss from the Clarion Ledger does rejoin us a little different way. We thank you for your effort and your ingenuity to get back on with us, Nick. And you did mention how the Memphis game important because it's the first game. Give me your sense of how up here in northern Mississippi and Memphis, we love this game. We love it as the first game. The rest of the state in Jackson, how do they feel about the Ole Miss-Memphis rivalry and where that game should be played?
I don't know if I'm the best expert to speak on that. I think that it's good to play these games on campuses. I think that there are a lot of Ole Miss fans who are looking forward to going to Memphis, and I think there are a lot of Ole Miss fans who are in Memphis, so I think that's going to be good for them. But, I mean, it's kind of hard to not acknowledge that this might be a bigger game in Memphis for Memphis than it is for Ole Miss, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that Memphis fans probably really like playing that game in Memphis because it's a chance to prove they can hang with a Power 5 team. I know they played UCLA a few years ago. I know they play those Power 5 games, but when it's Ole Miss, when it's that team that's only, 70 miles away, however Oxford and Memphis is, it means something a little different, and that game's going to mean so much for both of these teams to kind of set a new era up, and I really can't wait to see how they match up against each other.
And honestly, that's one thing. Ole Miss is blessed with a lot of rivalries. Mississippi State, we know, is the biggest. And then LSU's a big rivalry that they play every year too.
Yeah, the LSU game is definitely a rivalry for a fan of a certain age. I think that people who remember the great games in the 60s and 70s might be a little quicker to call that a rivalry, and they definitely are rivals. But, I mean, younger fans who only remember Alabama being the big bad might even pick Alabama as a bigger rival because the two games that Ole Miss took from the Tide back a few years back. Yeah, Ole Miss has its share of rivals, and there are definitely a lot of conversations to be had on that front.
You mentioned Corral being the number 4 quarterback coming out of high school and did get a little sniff of experience a year ago. What do you think is a realistic expectation for this team that won only one conference game a year ago?
The realistic number is 5 or 6 wins. And I could see it being as low as 4. I can see it being as high as 7. But that 5 to 6 win number where they've been hovering for, I think, 3 years now is probably the realistic thought again. You have to think that Memphis, Arkansas, Cal, Vanderbilt, Southeastern Louisiana, and New Mexico State are the 6 games that you would want to win. And then if you lose your other 5 games in conference play with a 2-5 record, but 4-0 out of conference, you've made a bowl game. That said, realism is never anything that any fan wants to hear. They want to hear what's the path to 10, what's the path to 12. I don't know if there is one of those for Ole Miss this year. It's going to be really hard. They're so young. 8 starters to replace on offense, as you mentioned, and they're bringing back 8 on defense, but they're bringing back 8 from the number 14 defense in the SEC.
Right.
So, yeah, the path is upward, but if everything works out with the new coaches they brought in, if everything works out with the plan that Matt Luke has devised, maybe there's a sense for optimism.
He is Nick Suss from the Clarion Ledger. One last question. You got about 1 minute, and that is, you mentioned Mike McIntyre, Rich Rodriguez, new coordinators that have more coaching experience, much more than the head coach, Matt Luke. How bold a move was that for Matt Luke to hire those 2 guys?
I don't know if bold's the right word. It definitely is a bold move, but I think that what Matt is doing is acknowledging his own limitations and going out and trying to fill the gap. Because if there's anyone in the world who wants Matt Luke to keep the Ole Miss job, it's Matt Luke. He really wants to keep this job, and he went out of his way to hire Rich Rodriguez, who's a former National Coach of the Year, to hire Mike McIntyre, who, according to at least one outlet, is a former National Coach of the Year, to reinvent his offense, reinvent his defense, rethink the way the team does everything, and then that put Matt in charge of the recruiting efforts and the fundraising and the team building and the rah-rah stuff that he actually is quite good at. If you look at this last month of recruiting, he's done a great job, and he's been going around the country trying to build the program up and elevate the status of what Ole Miss be. He's surrounding himself with the right people. It's just, do they have the personnel on the team this year that in a year where they're looking to hire a new athletic director, will they be able to keep this strategy going?
Nick Suss from the Clarion Ledger, thank you so much. We appreciate you going the extra effort to stay on with us today.
Oh, anytime, y'all. I'm happy to do it.
Thank you much. And as from the Clarion Ledger, Nick Suss down in Birmingham, and SEC Media Day sponsors are First Bank, Jason's Deli, Campbell Clinic, the All-Star Chevrolet, Ronnie Grisani's, Schrader Orthopedic and Stem Cell Treatment Center, and Blues City Cafe. We take the break. When we come back, we are scheduled to talk with the College Football Playoff Executive Director. That would be Bill Hancock. He's next on Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
I love the real estate business. This is Sheldon Rosengarten with Marks Bensdorf Realtors. I've been selling real estate a long time. What I love is having people ask me how some houses sell so quickly and others sit. That's an easy answer. Any agent can sit and tell you what you want to hear. I tell you what you need to know. I give you options and alternatives. I'm a firm believer in preparation, presentation, and proper pricing. We discuss that and my unique Shellbucks option. Beating your competition down the street or around the corner is the name of the game. So if you or someone you know is thinking of selling, talk to 2 to 3 real estate agents and make sure that I am one of them. Find out why my strategic marketing program with the Shellbucks option can mean the difference in whether you sit or sell. You'll find out why people often say when you want the job done, call Shell Done. You can reach me at 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com. That's Shell Done Rosengarten. 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com.
If you've always thought, hey, I'd look pretty good in Lexus, well, guess what? Lexus thinks so, too. Lexus is offering you the Golden Opportunity Sales Event. Great offers on all 2019 models and special lease options. Drive in luxury and confidence, knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by Lexus of Memphis, 2600 Ridgeway, and put yourself in the driver's seat of an all-new 2019 flagship LS500. Hey, you look pretty good there. Lexus Golden Opportunity Sales Event at Lexus of Memphis. Experience amazing.
College football season is approaching quickly, and that means it's time for SEC Media Days. Brett Norsworthy is broadcasting live from Hoover, Alabama, all this week, previewing the upcoming season and bringing you interviews with players and coaches and SEC insiders. So tune into Sportstime with Wolo and Stats and throughout the rest of the day for SEC Media Days coverage right here on Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. Brought to you by First Bank, Jason's Deli, Campbell Clinic, Blue City Cafe, All-Star Chevrolet, Ronnie Grizzani's, and Schrader Orthopedic and Stem Cell Treatment Center.
At Jason's Deli, you can stuff yourself full of great deli food that's healthy, fresh, and best of all, it's not expensive. Jason's Deli is all about choice. Whether you're looking for a gluten-free menu, vegetarian sandwiches, healthy kids' meals, or if you'd like to invent your sandwich via the build-your-own selections, Jason's Deli has you covered. And they only use fresh, wholesome ingredients. Choose from the club and specialty sandwiches, paninis, wraps, soups, salads, pastas, and much more. I love the cleanliness in the restaurant, the hospitality, and of course the cost. They have a huge salad bar and great soups, including Southwest chicken chili, fire roasted tortilla, organic vegetable, tomato basil, and many, many more. And if you're planning an event, their catering department is fantastic and can handle any size party. Go check out Jason's Deli's 4 locations. On Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, that's my favorite, on Germantown Parkway in Cordova, at Poplar and Highland, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56 and 87.7 FM anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also keep up to date with everything going on by keeping up with Sports 56 on social media. Be sure to follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook for information on breaking news, station events, big guests, and opportunities to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Stay in touch with Sports 56 and 87.7 FM. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter today. We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Welcome back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats on Sports 56 and 87.7 FM. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
Back on Radio Row, and the executive director of the college football playoff will join us momentarily, Mr. Bill Hancock, forever. He ran the men's Final Four. He now is large part running college football. He's executive director of the CFP. He got a chuckle at that. We'll bring him in a second. Dave Woloshin back in our Family Leisure Studios this hour every day, brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. They specialize in late model cars with low mileage, high standards in the car industry. All the cars are test driven at DeSoto Auto Sales. Checked out from head to toe, quite literally bumper to bumper. Unlimited inventory, every make, every model. If it's not on the lot, they'll go out and find it for you. No shortcuts at DeSoto Auto Sales, where you're treated like family by kind, courteous employees, laid back, down home environment, no high pressure sales. At DeSoto Auto Sales at 5704 Goodman Road. Visit them online at DeSotoAutoSales.com or give them a call at 662-890-7184 at 5704 Goodman Road. They know how important that your time is. They care about your time. They want you to have the ultimate car experience. Walk in, walk out, paperwork, test drive your car, 45 minutes, unbelievable and guaranteed. Visit them online at DeSotoAutoSales.com, 5704 Goodman Road, 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto County for that town and country experience in DeSoto County at DeSoto Auto Sales. SEC Media Days coverage brought to you by First Bank, Jason's Deli, Campbell Clinic, the official car of SEC Media Days, the Chevy Tahoe from All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch, Ronnie Grizzani's in Regalia Center, Schrader Orthopedic and Stem Cell Treatment Center, and Blue City Cafe on world-famous Bill Street. Dave Woloshin, we got a friend of college sports with us now, Mr. Bill Hancock. Bill, good afternoon. Glad to have you. Great to see you again.
Hey, Brett, good to see you. And Dave, how are you doing?
I am quite well, and we thank you for stopping by and chatting with us. Can't wait to hear what you've got to say.
Hey, Dave's got a loaded question for you. He's ready to talk expansion. Are you ready to talk expansion, Bill?
I'm happy to talk about anything to you guys.
Well, Bill, let's start there then. If indeed that is the case, and let's face it, your playoffs are wildly successful. We love them. And I have a connection with a G5 school, and that's the University of Memphis, so I'll say that on the front end. And if you were to go 2-8, do you think that college football and your group in particular would be ready to allow a slot for the G5? So in other words, if you did like we have with the automatic qualifiers for basketball, the 5 power conferences, we know them, each get a slot. 1 slot for the best of the G5 and then 2 at large. Would that be something that would be feasible if indeed you grow?
Sounds easy, Bill.
It sounds easy. But let me answer that this way, Dave. The CFP works, and you said it very well. It has been wildly successful. Having said that, my bosses, like any responsible operators of any system, a radio station, any kind of business, want to continue to look at it and see if it can be made better. The situation on expansion is extremely complex. There are lots of moving parts, and it's way premature for me to talk about what kind of a format might be in expansion, since our board hasn't even gotten to the point of thinking that might be something we might want to do. So I don't want to dodge the question, but I also don't want to give an incorrect answer.
And I guess it's fair to say, because it has been so successful, that it would take, and I just throw this hypothetically, but a conference or 2 conferences that keep getting excluded because they're just not quite good enough that year, where they're going to go, look, we want to be sure we're in.
You know, all the conferences went into the CFP eyes wide open. Everybody knew there were 4 teams and that there would always be a team 5.
That's right.
Our contract expires after 12 years, and we are entering year 6. So at some point, in any case, it will be time to talk about what to do after the 12 years. I don't know when that'll be, and I don't know what we might do. But like I say, my bosses they're going to be talking. I suspect they'll be talking about the format in most meetings from here on.
They are. And Dave, I promise you, when Bill sat down, I said, Bill Hancock, friend of college sports, and he went through a list. He said, good to be on in Memphis with George Lapidus and Lou Strasburg.
Wow. You're an old-timer, buddy.
Doodah.
Yeah.
You know Memphis well, Bill.
I love Memphis.
How many times in your life have you been to Memphis?
I couldn't even count.
Right.
It's one of the unique cities in America. It really is. We used to do the NCAA tournament there when I was director of the tournament, and I always loved visiting there. And y'all don't take it for granted. It is a truly special place.
Yeah, we're getting the tournament back, not spring of 2020, but a ticket punch to the Final Four in the spring of 2021, and was wildly successful the last time. We had Kentucky and North Carolina on Sunday.
Woo, I remember that.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
What year did you start with the Final Four?
Final Four, I became director of the Final Four in 1989. I was 39 years old and stayed there through my last tournament was 2005.
And then you got the call from the college,
I got
from the
Call.
BCS?
Yeah, but the conference commissioners who ran the BCS called me and said, would you like to come over and to football? And I always had loved college football. And people would ask me, what's your dream job, back when I was director of the Final Four? And I would always say, I'd love to be the director of the football championship. Well, we didn't have a football championship
to be a director of.
People would laugh at me, and I'd say, that's what I'd love to do. And then when the commissioners called and asked me to go to the BCS, my dream came true.
Just out of curiosity, since you've been involved both sides, basketball and football, how much different is it? Because in essence, the schools are your clientele and your bosses. Is there a major difference between running both of those organizations?
Nope, there's not a major difference. When from the inside where I sat, I think the biggest difference probably was in basketball every year we dealt with 13 different cities. And in football, we only deal with one for the championship game, a couple more that the bowls actually manage their game. But if there's one thing I miss about the basketball, it's that every year we would have 13 different cities. And I got to know so much of our country through getting to do the tournament. Everywhere from, Providence
from Boise
to Albany.
Tigers went out to Boise.
One time. I'll tell you a story about Boise. Whenever we would assign people to Boise, they'd grumble. They'd say, I don't want to go to Boise, for crying out loud. And then after they went, they'd call me and say, it was awesome. Yeah. We loved it.
Yeah. Dave, the Tigers went out there, and our friend Jarvis Greer from Action News 5, he's on the football games with Dave, and legendary Memphis TV sports figure, legendary good guy. He tells of going to Boise, and one of the best day-off trips ever was a ski trip the NCAA put on in March of, I think, like 1989, Dave, somewhere in there.
Right.
You were out there on that trip.
Yeah, I was.
Remember their court.
Oh, yeah.
Looked like a Taco Bell.
Looked like a Taco Bell.
Yeah. I remain, even a guy like Tommy Buford, and I don't remember, I don't know, Bill, if you remember him. He's the guy that brought the tennis tournament from here and was the tennis coach originally at the University of Memphis. He loved Boise so much he retired there. He passed away a couple of years ago, but he retired there. It's a beautiful place.
Yep.
Bill, last year there was some, not criticism, but the Bay Area hosted the final game between Alabama and Clemson. And look, I mean, you're going to bid this thing out like the Super Bowl. It had a little bit, some said, of an antiseptic feel. Look, we can't have it every year in Dallas or in New Orleans or Atlanta. You want to see other parts of the country, as you just expressed with your basketball travels.
We do, Brett, and it's important to us to take the event around the country. For the first 10 years of the CFP, the championship game will be in a different city every year. We called it 10 and 10, and I like that. And you're right, there was some criticism about Santa Clara. The fact is, it's a world-class stadium.
It sure is.
And
it's just hard to get to.
The players that got to play there will always remember that they got to play in that world-class stadium. It's a little hard to get there. There's 3 airports between San Jose and Oakland and San Francisco, but it's hard to get there. And we had rain during the weekend before the game, lots of rain, actually.
We can't blame you on the weather, though.
And no, that's Dave's deal.
Gotcha, we'll blame Dave.
Yeah.
Well, believe me, I'm blamed for a bunch of games in the last 2 years with Memphis.
But the fact is, we had great attendance. The thing was sold out, lots of people in the stands, electric atmosphere. It was hard to get there. And I met a couple who had driven from Clemson, South Carolina, to San Jose.
Wow.
To watch their Tigers play. That kind of exemplifies the passion for college football.
They saw a lot of the country. Do you ever aspire to have the cold weather outdoor Super Bowl like Commissioner Goodell had in New York City at MetLife Stadium out in the Meadowlands?
No, I don't think so. We haven't talked about the next 2 years of bidding site selection, but I don't think so. When we did the last 4 years, Miami, Indianapolis, Los Angeles, and Houston, we intentionally said, no, we're not going to go cold weather outdoors. We don't have owners, who can pressure us to take our game to an outdoor stadium. We did go northern tier with Indianapolis, which you always take a chance on people having a hard time getting in there. But it's a beautiful stadium and indoors. So I don't think we'll go outdoors.
I remember that part of the issue with Santa Clara was that we're going to look. The Bay Area is really a pro area.
Yeah,
and
it had two southern teams.
But my thing is, if you're trying to promote your sport, you take it anywhere to promote it, right? And obviously it was successful. But is there a difference with a pro area and a college area?
Dave, you nailed it. We took it there because we wanted to bring new fans to college football. Yes, it's a pro area. I mean, although Stanford and Cal both have great traditions, and San Jose State does as best they can, but we said no. Let's go to this pro area. Let's expose those people to college sports. And I have a friend actually who took 2 of his friends. They live in Palo Alto, and he took 2 of his friends who had never really been to a championship college football game, and he said, Bill, my friends were astounded at the passion he said, we've never seen anything like this. They're 49ers fans, and they were blown away by college football.
Bill, the late, great George Lapid is on these airwaves, on this radio row with you. He introduced me to you, and Dave Woloshin has said it through the years. I go to my first and only Final Four I've ever been to last year in San Antonio. All of us would say if you had to have a permanent site for a men's Final Four, put it in San Antonio. Do you have a place, if you had to have a permanent site for the college football final, you think would be ideal? Or do you not want to make 20 other places mad at you?
We wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
So
you're just not going to do it.
We're not going to do it.
Never entertained the thought.
No, we won't do that.
Well, I would have to say you'd have to put New Orleans in there too, because we sort of vacillate between San Antonio and New Orleans.
When I was doing Final Four, I liked San Antonio, New Orleans, and Indianapolis because of the walkability.
Mm-hmm.
But New Orleans is awesome as a destination city. Events are so much better when you have a destination city like New Orleans.
I've got a basketball question for you. Now with the tournament, with the Dayton games on Tuesday and Wednesday night, we don't have as much snub talk. The 65th, the really mad team, going to 68 really eliminated that. Would the CFP ever entertain maybe going to 6 and having buys? And then I don't know if a 7th or 8th team would really have a real snub argument.
They would.
Yes, they would.
Yeah, they would. We've talked about all different sizes back when we created the CFP. Team 7, 9, 17.
19.
And the difference on the tournament is, you know what, Brett, on the tournament, the difference is they only have 2 days before a dead time between Selection Sunday and games, where we have, 4 weeks?
Right. Bill, always fantastic to see you. I know you got other responsibilities. Want to see you and your wife in Oxford again. A few years ago, it was such a treat, and you tailgated with us pregame at our spot with Learfield IMG.
Yep.
Always welcomed in Memphis and Oxford and all these parts. You know that.
We had a big time. Dave, I walked out of the hotel and ran smack into Brett. So.
Yeah.
Hey, good talking to y'all. Take care.
We would love for you for the Memphis Ole Miss game. You love Memphis? Come on up. I'll make
Come
sure
to Memphis.
I'll make sure Doodah gets you a good place.
That'll be awesome. Y'all take care.
Thank you, Bill. Bill Hancock with the college football playoff, and just a gentleman's gentleman, one of the truly extraordinary people in college sports, and such a soft, fun spot for Bill every year when Oklahoma State has the commemoration of that flight going down. His son was in the sports information office there in Paris. Bill Hancock is one of the great people in sports for sure, and he's got a lot of friends in Memphis. I know a lot of people, and they have a lot of friends in Memphis in the Mid-South area. Down at All-Star Chevrolet, the All-Star Chevy Challenge, it's here. I'm telling you, if it's a new Chevy you want, Olive Branch is the place to go. Take your best written deal from any Mid-South Chevy dealer to our friends at All-Star Chevrolet, and they'll beat it, or you'll get a tank of gas for the win you can post. But you're going to get an L. But you're going to win in the end. So now that I've got your attention, yes, July is All-Star Challenge month. When you get to let All-Star Chevy beat that deal on any new Chevy or even a pre-owned vehicle you want, just take the official written deal, not any funny stuff, official written deal, and it's that simple. If you're within the sound of my voice right now, knowing you got the best deal like that Tahoe I've driven to SEC Media Days from the best Chevy testing ground in the Mid-South, that's All-Star Chevy in Olive Branch. Not in South Haven. It's got to be Olive Branch, people. Go to allstarautogroup.com right now and be amazed at all the hot new Chevys and pre-owned vehicles. Don't miss this All-Star Chevy Challenge, and you can thank me later. And Dave, I can assure you, Bill Hancock was glad to be visiting with you because he's got a real fine spot for the University of Memphis, the Tigers, the administration through the years, and all the fun people that he's met through the years at NCAA sites like that one out in Boise that year.
Well, he is a terrific guy, and he answered every question as honestly as he possibly could.
He's got bosses.
That was terrific. I'm sitting here, and I was just watching Matt Corral on the SEC Network, and they did this thing of the Davey O'Brien candidates, and 6 of the 14, and Matt's not one of them, 6 of the 14 SEC schools have quarterbacks that are up for the Davey O'Brien Award. It just shows you how 6 from one league tells you what this league is all about.
Well, it does, and there was good news on the announcement front about Patrick Taylor yesterday.
Yeah.
Scotty Phillips at Ole Miss has that. You know what, Dave?
And I'll tell you what, Bednarik Award, Bryce Huff, the linebacker for the U of M, was the
yes,
candidate.
Hard to believe Austin Hall's not on that list.
I know. I was shocked at that.
Because I don't know. I want you to ask somebody for me from little football or his dad or 7th grade. I want somebody to tell me who taught Austin Hall how to tackle. It's a prototype. It is a teaching clinic, coaching clinic way to form tackle. I'm not calling by any means a defensive struggle August 31st, but a little bit of running from Patrick Taylor and a little bit of running from Scotty Phillips. I don't know that we get into a scoreboard popping, mind-blowing game. I think maybe something in the high 20s or into the 30s, and I voiced this last week. In the 3 games previous to this for Tigers and Ole Miss, it hadn't been really a good game in there. There's been some good – it was a good upset for the Tigers for sure, and Ole Miss got some good wins in there.
But they weren't close games.
But they weren't great games.
Right.
I want – if my nerves can take it, I want something crazy.
I would be shocked if it was not in the 30s. I think both offenses. You got Rich Rod now, and you got.
Is that just the times we're in?
Yeah, we are. That was the point I was making earlier, and you and Brent were having a little technical difficulties there. I don't think in this day and age that your running back can be your greatest player, because if he is,
isn't that something?
You will have possession of the ball, and your defense must be pretty good, but you got to score in this game this day and age, and that's got to come from a quarterback who reads defenses, knows how to play his options on passing or running the ball if that's the play that's called, and then knowing when to go for the long one. And the quarterback clearly, it's always been critical in this game, but he's more important than ever before.
So much so, and you cannot hide a pedestrian kind of workman-like average quarterback. Used to you could, because you could get him back there and get him in 2nd and 3 or 4, keep pounding that rock, handing it to the running back, and you could kind of hide him with a great running back. No longer. And I jokingly tell people, Dave, you know what 27 points will get you now in college football?
Close.
Get you beat by 1 at least, 28-27. That's what it'll get you.
I'm with you there for sure. This portion of the show brought to you by Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, electric, and the tankless water heater, the new technology that is just so good. I never run out of hot water. I used to have a 75-gallon tank. Frankly, when it was just my wife and I, we were okay. But if we had company, when the family was there, we'd run out of hot water at times. Now I can run dishwasher, washing machine, 2 tubs if I want to, fill them all up. I never run out of hot water thanks to this new technology, and I never have a tank that bursts. And if you've got one upstairs and it bursts, well, if you've been through it, you probably have a tankless already. You don't want to go through that. And it's affordable now. It's much more affordable than it was when it first came out several years ago. And you only pay for the water you're using, which makes it really a savings affair. And on top of that, you never run out of hot water. You can't beat it, and the best place to get it, Conway, 384-3511. They know all the new technologies, and they service you so well. 384-3511, Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, electric, and tankless water heaters. Olin Buchanan is scheduled next. That was a terrific interview with Bill Hancock. We really appreciate it.
So fun, wasn't it?
And again, we'll let everybody know the SEC Media Day sponsors are First Bank, Jason's Deli, Campbell Clinic, All-Star Chevrolet, Ronnie Grisanti's, where I had lunch today, Schrader Orthopedic and Stem Cell Treatment Center, and Blues City Cafe on Beale. So we take another time out. We're back in a minute, and straight back to Birmingham we'll go. This is the Tuesday edition of Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
The Peter Edmiston Experience with C.J. Hurts. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10. Only on Sports 56 and 87.7 FM.
Are you tired of all the clouds and bad weather? Rain brings pollutants that can wreak havoc on your car's finish, but there is someone who can help. Car Wash USA Express has introduced their most advanced car wash yet with the exclusive Polymer Pro Wash, creating a stronger, more consistent protective sealant for your car's finish. Polymer Pro can only be found at Car Wash USA Express, where attendants are always on duty to keep you and your vehicle safe. For more information and locations, visit carwashusaexpress.com. Car Wash USA Express, because a dirty car is a dirty shame.
Driving, is freedom. The freedom to keep moving, to control your destiny, and to choose your path. And now, that freedom fits in the palm of your hand. It's called Ford Pass, the only app that gives you roadside assistance, Ford Pass rewards, and now when you buy or lease a new Ford, earn points you can use toward flexible complimentary maintenance that gives you, well, more freedom. Ford Pass, built to keep you moving, built Ford proud. Visit your participating Ford dealership to find out about getting flexible complimentary maintenance when you buy or lease a new Ford and sign up for rewards.
Roadside assistance is included for certain Ford owners and available to everyone for a per-service fee. Ford reserves the right to change program details without obligations. Visit your participating dealer or FordPassRewards.com for program rules and restrictions. Ford Pass, compatible with select smartphone platforms, is available via a download.
Hey, you guys, Memphis Paints and Sports 56 are teaming up Friday, July 19th. Come win lots of door prizes, 4 golf rounds at Wedgwood, gift cards at the Butcher Shop, and 2 lucky people win 2 box seats to the FedEx World Championship Golf Tournament, valued at $400 apiece. Wow, don't forget, complimentary Central Barbecue, yum. See y'all Friday, July 19th, Memphis Paints, 699 South Mendenhall, across the street from Half Shell. Come hungry.
Memphis Paints, 699 Mendenhall, Friday, July 19th. Sports 56 live from 3 to 6 p.m.
The best golfers in the world are coming to Memphis for the inaugural WGC FedEx St. Jude Invitational. Sports 56 and 87.7 FM will be broadcasting live at TPC Southwind throughout the day, Wednesday through Friday of tournament week, keeping you up to date with the latest tournament news and talking with players and officials. Our coverage from TPC Southwind on Sports 56 and 87.7 FM is presented by Landers Ford. It's also brought to you by Curry and Jerk, Miller Lite, Gatlin Insurance, Schrader Orthopedic and Stem Cell Treatment Center, and the Half Shell.
Join our producer extraordinaire Austin Eldridge this Thursday from 11 to noon at Landers Ford, 2082 West Poplar, Collierville. This will be another chance to win World Golf Championship tickets at Southwind, July 24th through 28th. That's this Thursday from 11 to noon at Landers on Poplar in Collierville to practice your putting skills and have a chance to win WGC tickets at Southwind, July 24th through 28th. See you there.
Welcome back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats on Sports 56 and 87.7 FM. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Wolosian and Brett Norsworthy.
Come on, Muhammad, that we hit fame. Too easy with the deal, we get in fame.
Welcome back in. We're having a good day on this Tuesday. It's actually stopped raining for about 20 minutes. What a deal. Wolo and Stats with you, of course, down in Birmingham on Radio Row. Stats Norsworthy, and he's got Olin Buchanan from TexAgs.com sitting right next to him.
Yeah, got Olin right here. And Olin, old friend of ours. Dave, you can remember when we were in the mornings together, we would have Olin on when he lived in Nashville with Rivals, and now he's at TexAgs. And, boy, Olin, you won the timing award. You and Johnny Manziel showed up, and Texas A&M sports has been great since.
Yeah, our website, TexAgs, our circulation, or I should say, thinking like newspaper guy,
right.
Our subscriptions increased by like 40% in 2012. When I got there, I tried to take credit for it.
It was because of you, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think me and that guy wearing number 2.
Number 2 was something. Now today, a little bit of news by number 11. You're going to write a column. It'll be up on your site about Kellen Mond. He voiced something today you want a player thinking. You maybe want him saying in the privacy of a locker room, but he expressed it here.
Yeah, he said that he thought he was the best quarterback in the SEC. I don't think even people in College Station are going to agree with that. I think he's going to get the attention when it gets out, and I don't think it's out yet. It's going to get people's attention, Tuscaloosa and Athens. But
maybe even for week 2 in Clemson, South Carolina.
Well, they're not in the SEC.
Yeah. Gotcha.
But on the other hand, maybe it's ill-advised boast, but you do want your quarterback to be confident. You want him to be bold. And, you want him to feel like he is the best. Now, maybe he shouldn't voice it until he's actually made some, I guess, more bones than he has. But, he had a good year in his first year as a full-time starter with Jimbo and in Jimbo Fisher's in his first year in Jimbo Fisher's system. So I think he could make some significant improvement. I'm not ready to say he's going to improve so much that everybody in the SEC is going to think he's a better quarterback than Tua Tagovailoa. But, we'll see.
But Kellen Mond got better game over game over game last year, didn't he?
Yeah, it was funny because one game – now they didn't ask him to do to throw the ball all the time. He had a huge game against Clemson in a loss, threw for over 400 yards. And then, like, the next week, they don't ask him to throw as much because, they had the SEC leading rusher in Travion Williams. This year, I think, Jimbo Fisher's always going to run the ball and try to run it well. But I do think they're likely to put more emphasis on the pass because of him in his second year in Fisher's system and also because of the receivers. They have a really good group of receivers. This time last year, they were unproven. But I think Courtney Davis and Kendrick Rogers and Jamon Osmond and some of the newcomers, they're probably as good as any group of receivers outside of Tuscaloosa.
Yeah. I got to ask you about Jimbo, and I was wildly crazy about that move, and I believe in Jimbo Fisher, but there was a big price that A&M had to pay to get Jimbo Fisher. And so with that in mind, how much patience is there around College Station? Does he get, like, the respect and a lot of time because he's won a national title at Florida State, or is like Sumlin? Is he a guy who came in with promise and better deliver, and obviously Sumlin did not?
Well, I think you absolutely want to get a return on that big investment. I don't think anyone in College Station is expecting them to go out and win a championship this year. I think people understood where the program was and that it was kind of stuck in a rut. And I think, Fisher in his first year kind of jarred him out of that rut a little bit.
Yeah, he did. And he was game over game better and really kind of put his marker down. And sometimes you do when you're building a program in the loss to Clemson.
Yeah, look, we're aware that Nick Saban, took 3 years to win a championship at Alabama and 4 to win at LSU. And Mac Brown, I think, took 7, 8, or 9 to win at Texas. I think what you want to see from Jimbo Fisher right now, I mean, obviously you hope they're ahead of schedule and win a championship. But what I think the hope is this year is you want to see a reason to feel like you're still making progress. And I think they're a year away, if you're objective, of saying that they're a year away from being able to be a serious challenger.
I'm probably a year late in asking you this, but I wasn't part of the show last year.
Okay.
And Brett and I were both Kevin Sumlin fans. I really thought that was a great hire. What the heck happened?
Well, I thought it was a great hire, too, at the time. I thought that Kevin Sumlin brought a personality that A&M needed.
Dave and I were like his media agents. We loved him.
And he had a lot of success at Houston, and they're throwing the ball around, and they're doing all these things. And A&M kind of had a stodgy reputation. They're that military wanting to be school that does the same thing. They run. And I think they needed, a little pizzazz. But we found out pretty quick, and I've said this when Kevin Sumlin was in College Station, that Kevin Sumlin was more image than substance. And he was very fortunate that he inherited a team that had on his offense 5 future first-round draft choices, the best quarterback in school history, the best receiver in school history. Really, Mike Evans, probably the best core of receivers in school, and the best offensive line in school history.
Yeah, he did walk in to a really loaded team. I told you that you will love Ross Bjork. I sure did at Ole Miss. I thought he did the check mark that you need when you leave a job. Did he leave it better than he found it? Unequivocally, he did. But he doesn't have he's just going to kind of drive the car down the middle of the road at A&M, though, because facilities-wise, Buzz Williams hired, baseball rolling, men's basketball rolling, women's basketball. He's kind of just going to be a steward, doesn't he?
There are those in College Station that will tell you that they don't feel like baseball's rolling
is that right?
Well enough. The Buzz Williams, he doesn't have to worry about a football or basketball coach. He may need to, as good as A&M's facilities are, there may be a call to make them better. So they may test Ross's acumen as being a fundraiser.
The basketball arena needs replacing.
Basketball arena could use a upgrade. They're always adding to the football program in different ways. I think you'll see them continue to build on the football.
Let me just tell you, Shelby Metcalf.
Dave did games at G. Raleigh White
in his grave. Considering you just built that building not that long ago, and now you're saying it needs an upgrade, and when they kept G. Raleigh White for all those years?
Yeah. Well, times are different. They're in the SEC now, and so if you want to – I used to
Texas just didn't discover oil. They had oil back when they had G. Raleigh White.
Yeah, my analogy has always been – I probably said this on your show before that for years and years and years, especially in football but in all sports, A&M wanted to play at the $100 tables, and they showed up with a $100 bill. Yeah. And now they're showing up with a whole suitcase full of cash.
They are. Owen Buchanan from TexAgs.com with us. Go ahead, Dave.
That just brings up an interesting subject. You and I have debated this a lot of times. You look at Texas and the amount of money that they have, and there's no question that it seems to me they get the top picks of guys. I think A&M is next. Why has there been such a shortage of success when you continue to have money, when you've got the population that plays high school football the way you do, with all the facilities that are there? Don't you think between these two schools there should have been more success than we've seen, say, in the last 30 or 40 years?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that if you'll go back to the 80s and into the 90s, A&M surpassed Texas. And was under the Jackie Sherrill and then R.C. Slocum years. They beat Texas 9 out of 10 years and dominated at the end of the old Southwest Conference. Then Texas hired Mack Brown. Nick Saban went to LSU. Bob Stoops went to Oklahoma, and all those programs poured money into their facilities, and A&M did nothing. They stood pat. They would R.C. Slocum couldn't get the money to pay assistant coaches. And like I said, A&M wanted to be a big-time player, but they didn't want to make the financial investment it took to be there. And so suddenly you had kids coming in that were recruiting, that you're recruiting, and they're going to look at what they had at LSU, what was going on at Texas, which Mack Brown came in and got them completely redo the locker rooms and weight rooms and all these things and put all the bells and whistles on a program, and A&M was still in these dingy locker rooms underneath the stadium, the bleachers at Kyle Field. So Kyle Field God bless it used to be kind of an eyesore. And then a couple of years ago, they decided they finally got everybody on board from the chancellor all the way down, through the athletic department, say, all right, we're going to try to be a first-rate program and understand what that includes a significant financial investment. And I don't think they ever could have done it had they not made the move to the SEC and everything all the windfall that's been.
They came in and made a splash. All right, year 2 for Jimbo Fisher. You say real, optimism, but everybody pretty much realistic. How concerned? What's the concern meter for that contract? Do the Aggie fans always keep an eye on LSU and Scott Woodward and Ed Orgeron and Jimbo Fisher with the contract of no buyout if he walks, but a big one if they fire him?
There's always going to be a little bit of concern, but I think it's minimal. I think Jimbo Fisher truly loves being the coach of Texas A&M. I think he's found a place where he's comfortable, that they're giving him what he wants. If you hear all about the Clemson lazy river. Mm-hmm. If he goes and tells Ross Bjork tomorrow, look, if I want to win a championship, I need a lazy river.
He'll get a lazy ocean.
They will get the shovels out the next day.
Yeah.
They're going to give him what he needs and what he feels like. It may not happen overnight, but he's going to get it. I think that he's really enjoying his time there. And, it's going to be hard to walk away from $7.5 million. And, oh, by the way, if somebody wants to match it, A&M will probably come up with $8.5.
Yeah.
You're not going to make that investment. The point is that they made that investment in him to keep him, and I think they will.
What do you think happened to him at the end at Florida State?
Well, in his last year there, he lost his starting quarterback in the first game of the year against Alabama. And if you remember, that game was like a 3-point difference going into the fourth quarter, and DeAndre Francois got hurt. You lose your quarterback. Now, some teams, Alabama, we saw last year, we saw Clemson, can lose a starting quarterback, and it's not going to hurt you. That was a big issue. From what I understand, they had some offensive line problems. But let's remember, after they won the national championship, the next year they went to the playoff. The next year after that, they won 10 games. The next year after that, they won 10 games. And then they lose their starting quarterback and go 6-6 or whatever. So this whole narrative that somehow he destroyed that program or ran it to the ground, it just doesn't ring true to me. And I know this, they did not want him to leave. I know there's kind of a revisionist history after last year, but when it came out that A&M was pursuing him, people all over the country and Florida were laughing at the idea that he would go to A&M.
And he did for big money. Olin, he did always kind of stay at it with the administration, both at the president level with T.K. Weatherall, whose son last week was just confirmed as a federal judge down in Florida, T.K. Weatherall Jr., and he would stay at it with his AD. So far, so good at A&M with the administration?
Now, from what we've been told, look, Clemson's is his primary competition in the ACC, and we just talked about all the investment that Clemson was making in their program. We've heard that, Florida State, the facilities are just not on par, and we've been told that his he didn't have all the time the money to hire the coaches that he wanted. So I think all those things, there was some frustration on his part. I think there was just a lot of dynamics going on, and that opened the door for somebody that wanted a new football coach, if they could make a good enough deal, to come in and entice him and lure him away.
Hey, Dave, I need you and Drew to confirm to Olin when we got to wrap it up with him, and I want y'all to confirm to him how I am constantly just praising and loving College Station. The best stadium, the best facilities, the perfect town. Well, I love coming down there, Olin.
I told you, my buddy Daryl Dickey told me that they've even got this thing where they vacuum out somehow with it must have come from Conway Services. They take out the stink from the locker room with a vacuum system that's air, and they pump in perfume. Nobody does that except A&M.
Well, I couldn't tell you about that. But I might need it at my house. That's a pretty good idea.
We might need it on Radio Row here in a day or two.
College Station is still as the town's name sounds, very much a college town.
It is.
It's hard to say that Austin's a college town or Nashville's a college town. They're big cities now with colleges in it. Texas College Station is still a college town where almost everybody's job is somehow dependent on the university, either directly or indirectly, and everybody's involved in the football program, whether it's a financial investment or an emotional investment. And so, it's very important. The athletics there is very important. We're kind of isolated. We're an hour and a half from Houston. But it's a good community where people really care about each other, and they really love the Aggies.
When I win the Powerball, I promise you, I'm buying me a house out there at Montgomery on that lake.
Well,
La Toretta, where we stay.
I know the area and I like it. And if I win it, I might be your neighbor.
Olin, thank you.
I think you'll both need to win it. It's expensive.
we both need to win it. Thank you, Olin.
You bet.
Olin Buchanan with TexAgs.com talking the Aggies. Always fun to see you, Olin, and I do. And Dave, I want you to go back someday. You probably will in some sports travels and see College Station. It's not the College Station you left.
I'm sure it is not. There is nothing that's the same from the 80s. That is a fact. It's also a fact that we got to take a break. Back with Crunch Time and some other stuff in just a minute. This is Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy get you through the midday with Sports 56 Middays. Delivered by FedEx. Weekdays from 10 till 1 on Sports 56 and 87.7 FM.
Once upon a time, there was a sleepy bear in search of a place to nap. Like the inside of a car. A coupe? Too small. An SUV? Too big. A station wagon? Just right. But as his eyelids began to get heavy, covered it. September 30th, 2013. Talk to farmers. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
Call Chad Gatlin at 901-235-1176 or get a fast quote at memphisfarmers.com.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
The World Golf Championships FedEx St. Jude Invitational makes its debut at TPC Southwind, July 24th through 28th.
Join me, Justin Thomas, when I defend my title at TPC Southwind. Tickets are on sale at WGCFedEx.com.
Driving is freedom. The freedom to keep moving, to control your destiny, and to choose your path. And now that freedom fits in the palm of your hand. It's called Ford Pass, the only app that gives you roadside assistance, Ford Pass rewards, and now when you buy or lease a new Ford, earn points you can use toward flexible complimentary maintenance that gives you, well, more freedom. Ford Pass, built to keep you moving, built Ford proud. Visit your participating Ford dealership to find out about getting flexible complimentary maintenance when you buy or lease a new Ford and sign up for rewards.
Roadside assistance is included for certain Ford owners and available to everyone for a per-service fee. Ford reserves the right to change program details without obligations. Visit your participating dealer or FordPassRewards.com for program rules and restrictions. Ford Pass, compatible with select smartphone platforms, is available via a download.
You'll see the dedication in every single step. You'll see it in the smiles when smiles are hard to get. You'll see it in the little things that add up to success. The caring and passion are the things that we love best.
Wolf Chase Lemon Brace is your Mid-South provider for orthotics and prosthetics. They are an ABC-accredited facility, and their practitioners are ABC certified. At Wolf Chase Lemon Brace, their services include artificial limbs, legs and arms, braces of all kinds, and custom molded inserts. You can call them today at 901-507-7821 for their location on Highway 64 in between Germantown Parkway and Appling Road, or visit them at their new location in Jackson, Tennessee. That number is 731-660-5900, or visit them on the web at wolfchaselemonbrace.com.
Wolf Chase Lim and Brace.
Welcome back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats on Sports 56 and 87.7 FM. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Wolosian and Brad Norsworthy.
Final portion of the Tuesday show brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai and Olive Branch, #1 certified pre-owned car dealership in Memphis for the last 11 years. Always new things. The new Palisade, you're going to love that. Oh, how about the news that it's Homer Skelton Hyundai and Homer Skelton Genesis? They're going to actually enlarge the shop, and they're going to have 2 different entrances. It's always something really good and improved. At Homer Skelton Hyundai, full of assurance, 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty on every new car. And the thing I like best is the service, including what they call the shopper assurance. That's visible pricing right there for you. And then flexible test drive. Take it for a couple of days. Streamlined buying process when you buy the car, and you will. And then 3-day worry-free exchange. You got any buyer's remorse? 3 days to exchange the car. So much happening. Down Lamar into Mississippi, Craft Road's the first exit. Turn left. You'll see all the gang at Homer, Skelton, Hyundai, and Olive Branch. Well, I thought I was being brilliant with my high-tech capabilities of telling you to take a picture of the back of the media guide so we could see what the schedule looks like before you bring back the media guide. And, well, that didn't matter because I come up with this, I think, brilliant move, and then Drew just finds it on the internet.
Boom. You are brilliant, Dave.
I haven't printed it out yet. I'm trying to I can't figure out how to get the picture to go to landscape mode right now, so it's taking me a minute. Okay. But I should get it to you.
No sweat.
And I'm bringing you back media guides.
No sweat.
Appreciate it.
No sweat. Time, ladies and gentlemen, for Crunch Time.
This is for all the biggest Crunch Time.
You can feel the excitement. You are looking live.
It's Crunch Time.
Someone call someone because there's a cleanup on aisle 3 as a man is down.
In your life, have you seen anything like that?
We'll take questions again for the student athletes at this time, please.
He's a professional. He's pretty classy for his age.
He's in a
crunch time, that's the frustrating part.
Little Penny could make some appearances this year.
Okay, I'm not huge into stats.
Has it always been this way?
It's crunch time, so I got a different mind state.
What's happening, big dog? How you doing?
Is this thing working?
Immediately when the buzzer sounds, he lets out this shriek.
You throw those ears forward, he was in stroke mode.
It's obviously crunch time.
It's time for Taco Bell Crunch Time, brought to you every day by Taco Bell, home of the Crunch Wrap, including the Crunch Wrap Supreme, a warm, soft flour tortilla that's filled with seasoned beef and jam-packed with warm nacho cheese sauce, with a crunchy tostada shell with sour cream, lettuce, and tomato. Then it's all wrapped up and grilled. It will fill up your stomach. It will fit in your hand, but it won't take a lot out of your wallet. Perfect on your way home tonight. The Crunch Wrap Supreme. You can only get it Taco Bell. Taco Bell is home of the Crunch Wrap, and each and every afternoon they bring us Taco Bell Crunch Time. And, Dave, today I learned bright and early this morning, 5 o'clock, I watched the whole press conference. Not a peep from Tiger. I get a lot of people telling me, don't worry about it. They still feel good about it. We'll know for sure on Friday. We'll talk to Darryl Smith at 5:30. But I do know this, Dave. I do know this. So learn this today. You gave me 42 out of the world's top 50. That's 84%. I can live with 84%.
I guess I can. I can't help. I will be disappointed.
I will too.
If Tiger does not come, and I'm with you. That could be the story that I could have done without, to be honest with you, because I really thought he was going to say today he's coming. It's not over. I was really confident, so we'll have to wait and see.
I was too.
What I learned today was that the Grizzlies, who are now, Summer League champions, they've moved up a spot in the ESPN NBA Power Rankings. They have moved from 27th to 26th.
That's the power of being Summer League champs, Dave.
Hey, how about poor Cleveland? Cleveland is now the lowest ranked, power ranked team in the NBA. From 2 years ago, NBA champions to 30. 1 to 30 in a couple of years.
I mean, with LeBron, it's pretty high old times. Without him, it's poor Cleveland. Yep. And Johnny Manziel, Baker Mayfield can take over that town. Dave, I could have done without, speaking of Baker Mayfield, OU coach Lincoln Riley saying that Jalen Hurts hadn't won the job yet, that he's still competing for it. Lincoln Riley, we know better than that. And a lot of these coaches during talking season and this run-up to school starting, it's a lot of subterfuge, which is a nice word for some falsehoods. They're talking that way because they don't want other players transferring. This is kind of coaching against the transfer portal. Look, be straight with the youngster. If the guy's not going to play, let him know where he can make his life decisions. Don't string him along. Too much of that has been done through the years in August on some of these bogus depth charts.
Well, the only thing you could see would be his fitness level. They haven't started practice yet. That's the thing that struck me. He made this statement without even seeing any of the young man, and he wouldn't have come there if he didn't think he was going to play. I could have done without the WNBA suspending LA Sparks guard Raquina Williams for 10 games without pay as a result of domestic violence involving her ex-girlfriend in December. We got this even from the girls. From the women, I should say.
Yeah, that is too bad. Tonight, keeping a close eye on a lot of things. Tomorrow, I'll join Peter bright and early tomorrow tonight, getting ready to go to a function for the SEC that will feature, how about these three names? Archie Manning, Herschel Walker, and Steve Spurrier. Living legends right there. What a lineup tonight. Baseball, Pittsburgh at St. Louis, Braves at Brew Crew, Houston at the Angels. Albert Pujols is getting hot. And we will see if we have any by tomorrow. Tiger news, as in Tiger Woods, and always Memphis Tiger news. Keep an eye on World Golf Classic news and maybe some new entrants into it. Very exciting times as we wait on Tiger Woods. What are you looking forward to? Or keeping a close eye on tonight?
I'm not looking at anything because
nothing.
No, Cubs
just taking a night off.
Cubs lost today. I was going to brag that they got.
Oh, I didn't even know it, Dave.
They got Martin Maldonado,
and you can tell how sorry I am.
I
Does
know.
it sound empathetic?
Yeah.
You know, Dave,
like you're going to be there for me.
You know, Dave, when you can really, really fake sincerity, that's when you really got it. Dave, I hate it for the Cubs.
Well, you're not very good at faking.
Thank you.
I'll tell you what I'm going to watch tonight. I'm going to watch the SEC schedule because Drew figured out the landscape.
Way to go,
and he's
guys.
printed it out.
Look at you, high-tech guru.
Wow.
Thank you.
We got a lot of guys to thank today.
We do.
Including Evan Barnes, Jimmy Himes, Brent Beard, Bo Marchant, Nick Suss, Bill Hancock, and Olin Buchanan. We'll do this all again tomorrow.
We will. We'll sure try to. And my engineering skills took a mighty test today.
Yeah, but you passed.
I did pass.
Yeah, you were failing for a little bit there, but you passed in the long run. Thank you, guys. We appreciate it. We thank all our sponsors. First Bank, Jason's Deli, Campbell Clinic, All-Star Chevrolet, Ronnie Grisanti, Schrader Orthopedic and Stem Cell Treatment Center, and Blues City. We do it again tomorrow. Have a great night, everybody.
I'm here with Anna and Catherine, two of Mr. Charlie Burgos' granddaughters at the Rendezvous restaurant. Okay, ladies, you guys and gals now ship a Rendezvous nacho box. Why had no one thought of that before?
We do. We have no idea. Someone suggested it to us, and at first even we went, can we make that work? So we sent a bunch of sample boxes to friends and family to only rave reviews.
Okay, so what comes in the nacho box?
You get Rendezvous pulled pork, a bag of Brim's corn chips, a